Welcome to Speaking Cinema, Serious Movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you from Kingston Falls on the Universal Backlot in Hollywood, California, America, planet Earth.
After midnight, most likely.
We are Speaking Cinema. We have a discussion on a movie, split it into two parts. Before we see the movie, after we see the movie. This is your Jibber Jabber, Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, at Speaking Cinema. Fill your ear holes with our gravelly voices.
Homing pigeon will accommodate you.
I am your host, in a sustained state of arrested development, a man boy called Mr. Jibber Jabber. Here with me today is my murderous teddy bear, Kevin, who I cannot feed after midnight.
I'm really hungry though.
Yeah, I know.
When is after midnight?
You must be famished.
When does it start over? Is the question. 6 a.m.
If you haven't guessed, this time on the Jibber Jabber, cute, clever, mysterious, intelligent, dangerous. 1984's Gremlins. Merry Christmas.
Merry goddamn Christmas, everybody.
Because Gremlins is part of our not so Merry Christmas month, where we are looking at movies, taking a gander at the movies that have a Christmas theme, but not the way you're used to.
I believe this is wrapping up our Christmas.
At the end of season 4.
Yes.
Also, if you're, well, go ahead.
And what better movie to do it on?
Yeah, no better movie to do it on, and nothing personifies the arbitrary nature of our seasons more than just cutting it off here because the holidays are over.
We do what we want.
Written by Chris Columbus, directed by Joseph Dante, aka Joe Dante, aka Joey Jojo. Starring Zach Gallion, Phoebe Cates, with Corey Feldman, and introducing Gizmo the Mogwai. Produced by Amblin, distributed by Warner Brothers. If you're not familiar, Billy Peltzer is given a small creature called a Mogwai by his father for Christmas. There's a huge responsibility in looking after the Mogwai, as there are certain rules which must be followed. The Mogwai must be kept away from the light, never be made wet, and never, ever be fed after midnight. When an accident occurs involving Gizmo and water, Gizmo being the Mogwai, Billy unleashes carnage on the small town of Kingston Falls. That's the plot of Gremlins.
Doesn't get much simpler than that.
I mean, it's pretty complicated.
Simple.
Well, it's not so weird. I mean, once we get it going, right, the chain starts chugging.
Yep.
You know, because basically little green monsters terrify a town and two people out and a talking teddy bear have to kill them all. I mean, but once we get to that point, right, I mean, there's no, that train is just solid. Bit of background. Started off as a spec script by Chris Columbus. Spec script, noun. Original film designed to get people more written work, show that you're good at a movie, not necessarily intended to be something that you think can get made. More just a resume builder kind of a thing.
Usually about 17 pages, approximately.
No, that's a treatment.
Oh.
The spec script is the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
However, Steve Spielberg's bought it and said, this is good, it's original, I like it, let's make this into a movie. A movie about, to recap, furry creatures that turn into gremlins who murder and pillage a town. Steven Spielberg, very different guy in the 80s.
He was like, I like it.
That was
bad cold.
And if you're not familiar, you guys, it's the sound of a guy having a real bad cold.
Bad cold.
The genesis of the idea, Columbus explained, came from when he was living in a loft, and at night, it sounded like a quote-unquote, a platoon of mice would come out, and he would hear them skittering around the blackness, and it was really, really creepy. Spielberg was also a fan of The Howling by one Joe Dante, one of my favorite movies, and he thought Dante would make an effective director based off of how much he loved The Howling. Again, Steven Spielberg in the 80s. Don't disagree with you there.
Always thinking.
Always thinking.
He had already made Jaws by this point, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and E.T. He knew what he was doing.
It is said that Spielberg wanted to make the movie more of a family horror comedy, as the original spec was a pure horror film. Over the few drafts, the tone was lightened up, and originally, spoilers, Gizmo was turned into a gremlin, not kept a mogwai the whole movie. And Spielberg was like, no, we gotta make it a kids movie, and the kids gotta have a furry creature to hold on to.
Gotcha.
Is this after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, this is 1984. Jedi was 83.
Yeah, so Jedi had already come out of this. This perfectly makes sense. Jedi had come out. You had the army of the teddy bears. It's like, listen, if we're gonna pervert the army of the teddy bears, we got to give them one teddy bear to love forever. And dude, as a kid, my friends loved Gizmo. There was Gizmo plush toys.
Yep,
There
Gizmo
was
T-shirts.
There was guinea pigs named Gizmo. Gizmo.
Yep.
Loved.
In the Gremlins video game, I believe you play as Gizmo.
Why wouldn't you? Modern lore says this movie and another Steven Spielberg joint, Temple of Doom, is what triggered the MPA to create the PG-13 rating, as this movie was too violent for a PG rating, but not violent enough for an R rating. So it went out with the PG rating, and people were like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Joe Dante says that he sees this movie as A Wonderful Life meets The Birds.
That's a great analogy.
Right? What an illuminating analogy.
It's brilliant.
There has been talk of a remake and then a distant sequel. So hot right now, those distant sequels. As of this recording, nothing is official, but Zach Gallahan, who is the star of the movie, in a Q&A in London in November of 2015 said, it's a go. They're doing the sequel. It's going to be in the same universe in real-time time difference. So 1984 to 2020 or whenever this is going to come out, that's what it's going to be.
Wow.
No word on if that's official. No word on if Steven Spielberg's coming back. No word if Joe Dante is going to direct it or not. Joe Dante is still directing. He's like 70 years old.
Still out there, man.
You don't give a fuck. As of this recording, you can find this movie on all EST platforms, the physical medias, the discs, the tapes, the files. Don't think it's streaming at the moment, though. No. Sadly.
Yeah, I checked. It's not there.
Kev, have you heard of this movie?
Oh, yes. Definitely heard of it.
Have you seen it?
Interesting point. I've definitely seen it,
Yes.
but I've probably only seen it like once, maybe twice at the most when I was very young. I don't remember a whole lot of it, and we really didn't have it at my house because my brother was terrified of the Gremlins.
Interesting.
So, seeing it for this is almost going to be like seeing it for the first time, I think. Where I've really seen it with a fully developed mind and can process it in an intelligent way.
So this movie was a staple. This movie and its sequel were a staple of the Taekwondo dojo sleepover thing that they would do.
Yeah.
So you would come on a Friday night. You know, you do fucking Taekwondo shit at night. And then at night, when everyone's supposed to go to sleep, they'd stay up playing Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and watching Gremlins. And I think there's maybe some Jean-Claude Van Damme movies in the queue, but like...
Okay, Street Fighter in there? Street Fighter the movie?
No, that wasn't yet. That didn't come out yet. That came out at a later time. Sure. But, oh yeah, I mean, we were salivating for that Street Fighter movie, dude. We were like, you know...
All big Raul Julia fans at the Taekwondo studio.
Quick tangent. I went to Ernie Reyes West Coast Taekwondo. Ernie Reyes played the stunt double of Ryu in the Street Fighter movie. So my first true movie gossip was my Sabanim, which is your master guy, the guy George was like, yeah, dude, I was talking to Ernie, and he's like, that movie's a mess. He's like, the first unit, I didn't even know what this meant at the time. He's like, the AD was yelling at the director, and I'm like, what's AD? And he's like, assistant director, and I'm like, right. What? And then he's like, yeah, they're yelling at each other, and all the stunt guys quit, and we're going to the airport, and because they shot it in like Manila or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, they had to get them at the airport and be like, no, don't quit, you know what I mean? Bring them back. So he's like, yeah, that movie's not gonna be good. And I was like, there's no way they could fuck up a Street Fighter movie. And it was the first time I saw an adaptation of a movie that was just like total bullshit, right? Because like Teenage Mutant Turtles #1, to my little kid eyes, that movie was good.
Yep.
That was Turtles from the cartoon, Turtles on real life. 1, 2, 1. Also, Ernie Reyes Jr. played Kato in the second movie.
Oh, right.
The little delivery boy.
Yeah,
Kato.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good on him. Yeah, that real first bit of movie gossip, that's what gets you hooked.
Yeah, that's like, ugh, I like this. Going back to the point, I have seen this movie. I watched it a million times at these sleepover things. I was always very intrigued by it. I think I was a little bit too young to fully enjoy it. I remember from Gremlins 2, spoilers, a guy puts a gremlin through a paper shredder and all of his green goop goes everywhere. I think the movies were a little bit gross for me. I'm not a big gooey, gross fan, and there's a little bit of that in these movies. But
Big time.
you know, it is what it is.
Yep.
Are you a fan of movies in this genre, specifically little tiny monster subgenre of monster movies?
I'm all for it. I like hordes of things.
You like the critters, the ghoulies, the trolls, the hobgoblin, the munchies?
Give them to me.
Those are all.
Love 'em. Those are great.
Those are all the ripoffs.
Troll 2 for don't enjoy that because it's good. I enjoy that because it's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I've always liked little hordes of things just swarming at you.
Interesting.
So, I like when video games finally caught up to that.
Yeah.
The Ratchet and Clanks of the world. I could finally do hordes of enemies.
Right.
I thought, oh, this is great.
And you hit them all with your gigantic
You
wrench.
blast them.
Are you familiar with the writer and director, Joe Dante and Chris Columbus?
Oh yeah. Joe Dante. Let's see. He did Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers,
What else has he done?
The Howling. He did Piranha,
Oh, the
1978.
first Piranha.
He did. He had a segment in the Twilight Zone, the movie. He did Explorers. He did Gremlins 2. He did. Oh man,
Did he do the recently released Life After Beth?
no, he did Burying the X.
Burying the X.
which is a
I get
similar
those two
movie.
mixed up.
And then he did a bunch of other stuff. I'm missing a bunch of them, but
Two other things I get mixed up: Joe Dante and Joe Johnston. I always get those two mixed up.
who's Joe Johnston?
He did The Rocketeer,
Yeah,
Captain
yeah,
America,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3. These two, for some reason, I always get them mixed up because they're kind of special effects focused guys, and they kind of do these very specific genre type movies, and I always get them mixed up.
He did Jurassic Park 3?
Yeah, Joe Johnston did, not Joe Dante.
Wow.
Yep.
Yikes.
Low point. Raptor whistle, anybody? Terrible.
That guy is the same guy who did Captain America: The First Avenger. That is literally unbelievable. And the Wolfman.
And the Wolfman. Well, not the Benicio del Toro one. That wasn't very good.
Yeah. But that movie had script problems from day one.
Yeah, it did.
Moving right along. Chris Columbus is one of those names that comes up every now and again, and I'm like, oh yeah, Chris Columbus. But then I can always forget, like,
He did Mrs. Doubtfire. Did Home Alone.
oh, right.
Did the first two Harry Potter movies. And he.
Oh, yeah, of course. Right.
Yep.
This happens every time. This is going to happen to me my whole life.
He did something else. I think he did the Percy Jackson movies, or did one of them. And he's definitely he stays around. You know, he hasn't gone anywhere.
No. So, speaking of little monsters that you're in love with, Gremlins culturally came into significance in World War II. They were little monsters that explained the issues with mechanical failures on planes that no one could explain. Kind of reminds me of the Icelandic Hundukfolk, which is invisible elves that live in rocks that Icelandic people apparently believe is real.
All right.
You know, like, and if bad things happen, like those Hindu folk. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I know it. But what do you think? Do you like this idea of a quote unquote new monster?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, vampires very old. The concept of a zombie pretty old. The modern zombie's a little bit different, but it's been adapted.
Cultures are always changing, and culture is kind of where these things come from. And new cultures evolve. We have to have new legends and new critters and gremlins and Google Fanks or whatever you want to call them.
Google Fanks.
Google Fanks.
That's gonna be whatever when we make bad things out online.
Yep.
That's gonna be a Google Fank.
Oh boy, that was a hell of a Google Fank we just had there. Company shut down. But yeah, I think we should always be, generating monsters out of necessity for our own cultural needs.
Yeah, I like that. I think It Follows did a good job of that. See one of our earlier episodes for our take on It Follows. And when new things come into
Like the Babadook.
Yeah.
As it's like you can only do a vampire.
Alien
is
a new.
The best one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, so good.
You can only do a vampire so many times. You can only do Frankenstein's monster so many times. You can only have a mummy before it's like, what else can you do with this thing's limitations? Let's just put our heads together and come up with something new. The Google Fanks.
Let's get in some rapid fire. Only got a few for you this time.
All right.
Do you want a remake of this movie?
No.
I also don't want a remake of this movie. Do you want a distant sequel?
If they give it as much love and heart as you would give anything, like a Mad Max Fury Road
Or a Jurassic World?
or a Jurassic World,
Yeah, I want it.
and not a cash in.
We should revisit this question after we watched the movie. I'm okay with the distant sequel, and especially if it's like earned, you know what I mean, and it really explores something, but not everything needs a sequel.
If we're just gonna capitalize on fleeting nostalgia, then I don't even care.
Yeah,
like really do something with it.
Exactly.
Adapt it to a new generation.
Christmas tree, real, plastic.
I do like the plastic because you can just haul it up from the basement.
Agreed.
You don't have to water it. Mm-hmm. But a real tree's pretty nice too. It smells good.
Here, let me combine those two things, Kev. I think and you gotta have some money for this. Not everyone can do it, right? So I'm just saying, but the idealized version of this is as follows. Your house has an atrium in the middle of it. That atrium, you plant a Christmas tree, and every year you actually just decorate that actual tree. Also, if you have a greenhouse, that's okay too. We can accept a greenhouse instead of an atrium. Doesn't really matter. And that's where you put all your presents, and that's a tree that you decorate. And then for like Halloween and other holidays, you can also decorate that tree with holiday appropriate decorations.
I like that idea. That's great. Let's go get $2 million a day.
And it was also change culture significantly, so people are hardwired to want to have a tree in their house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creates oxygen.
I mean, it
Better for the world.
It would be good.
Do it.
But then bugs.
Bugs are tricky. Year-round maintenance of a tree is tough.
They need some workshopping, but I think we can get something going here. Ham or turkey, Xmas Day? What do you mess around with?
Ham. Turkey's for Thanksgiving. Give me a break. Give me some ham. Give me some honey glazed ham.
I'm also going to agree with ham, but is there any meat that we're sliding here? Perhaps a casino roast.
Maybe some ribs.
Oh, ribs on Christmas.
I know what I'm doing this
sweet,
Christmas.
Sweet jingle bells.
Gnawing on bones.
So normally we play What This Movie, and we say yay or nay on movies and that are in this thing, but I don't want to just talk about Ghoulies 4 and its kin. So I want to do something a little bit different. It's Christmas, trying a new tradition. I'm just going to say, we're going to play a game called Yay or Nay, Yes or No, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to name some holiday traditions, and you just tell me if you're for it or against it.
I like that idea. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody's seen Critters 4.
And if you have, you know what you feel about it, okay?
Yep.
You don't need us to tell you anything about it. Christmas trees.
Yes.
Yay. Yay. Mistletoe.
Yay.
I'm going to say nay, because does anyone ever get kissed underneath a mistletoe?
I like the idea of people taking risks. Kiss a stranger. Do it.
Santa Claus.
Yay.
I'm a soft nay.
It's a magic in the world.
I mean, it's a modern day fairy tale, but you're lying to your kids. All right, you're lying to your kids, but it's a cool lie.
It is.
Right, the Tooth Fairy is a weird lie. This is a cool lie.
Yep.
Peppermint hot chocolate.
Nay. Don't like peppermint.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nay because it's very the difference between good peppermint. The line between good peppermint hot chocolate and bad peppermint hot chocolate is the thinnest of lines. Mm-hmm. Holly.
Nay.
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 No, we already did that. Yule log.
Nay.
I'm gonna say nay too. I barely know what it is.
You can put the one on that's on Netflix and just have it on in the background.
It's just a burning log, right?
It is as comforting as a real burning log.
It's just a log in a fireplace, right? Yep. Why? What makes it Yule?
You're telling me. Yule Brenner blessed it himself.
Krampus.
Yay.
I'm gonna say yay. I'm gonna say soft nay, because I said soft nay on Santa Claus. So if I'm soft nay on Santa Claus, how can I be? No what? Fuck it. Yes on Krampus.
If there's good, there has to be an evil.
Yeah.
I have not seen Krampus yet.
We're gonna get a group of people to go. You wanna go?
Yeah. Get me in that group.
Let's work on it. Leaving out cookies and carrots.
Yay.
I'm gonna say nay.
I did that when I was a kid.
We all did.
My dad ate them.
Yeah, of course he did.
He better.
I think my mom just threw them out. That glass of milk, you don't want to mess around with that. It's been sitting. Secret Santa.
Yay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do like Secret Santa.
I like it better than like a white elephant.
Oh, interesting.
Now here's why. Because you can actually get somebody something they want. Instead of getting the most generic of gifts and hoping it gets passed around and you get something halfway decent.
I'm gonna insult you right now. I don't think you're very good at Secret Santa. Sorry, at White Elephant.
I got somebody a Benjamin Franklin action figure once.
No, that's good. That's good.
I kick ass at White Elephant.
Oh, but you're upset that other people aren't as good as it.
Yeah, I'm saying overall, if I had to pick between the two, Secret Santa, because you can get a specialized gift for that person and it means something.
Well, but you're good. But you're good at that. I'm gonna say I don't love. My next one is White Elephant, so you obviously nay on that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say
A
nay.
soft nay.
Soft
It's not
nay.
bad, but
I'm gonna say Secret Santa sucks because what ends up happening sometimes you have to like write down what you like because people don't even know you that well.
Yeah.
And they're both. I think they both fall in the pitfall of generic. People try to get generic like Starbucks gift cards and Starbucks cups and Starbucks drinks, right? It's just wrapped up a frappuccino. But if you really take the time, if you for Secret Santa, you really need to get like people you know and you like, so that you can do that. You can have like hidden conversations, like trying to figure out someone's size of someone's shirt, you know what I mean, or something to duck them up or something. But if it's for like a big office or something, I think. Secret Santa is harder because you might get someone you don't even know, and then it's like you gotta be that guy who gets a Starbucks gift card.
True.
But White Elephant is cool because you could just put nonsense out into the world, and they got everyone else to figure it out.
You got a Totoro beanbag. Somebody's getting that Totoro beanbag.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I got a gold Homer Simpson who's like
Nice.
who's doing a yoga pose on top of a donut.
That's fantastic.
You figure it out.
All right.
That's you.
All right.
So that's just
You might have convinced me.
Maybe. We'll revisit this later. Sledding.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I mean,
Sledding's great.
sledding's cool. As long as sledding. Nothing. Snowball fights.
Yay, absolutely.
I'm going to say yay, but I'm also going to say a lot of hurt feelings.
And it needs to be real good snow. It can't be like sleet, slushy snow, where you're just soaking wet at the end of it. You gotta have real good, hard snow.
Snowball fights. Sorry.
We did that already.
Sorry. Pajamas with feet.
Nay.
Yeah, I'm saying nay as well.
I'm not a onesie guy.
No.
Too sweaty.
Hot tubs in cold weather.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. We used to, my aunt and uncle they live in the boonies in Washington, and they had a hot tub, still have a hot tub. They used to dare us, and we would do it. Jump in the snowbank, then jump in the hot tub.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a great feeling if you can take that first blast of cold.
So you do like a belly dive, belly flop,
belly dive right into the snowbank, and then just run over to the hot tub and just blast it all off.
See, that's fun though, because there's a solution to your problem right there. It's like, I'm real cold, but like, thank God there's just boiling water right here. How everything is closed on Christmas.
I think a yay. It's a holiday.
I'm gonna say nay.
The places I go are open: 7-Eleven and the movie theater.
And not in that order.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that people don't want to work on Christmas, and I get that sucks. It's also like, it depends on where you're at. If you're in a small town, everything's gonna be closed, and there's gonna be no apology. If you're probably in like LA, it's probably places you can go, like restaurants that are open, bars that are open, movie theaters that are open, places that are doing Christmas things.
Take a selfie in front of the Fox building, aka Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah, you can.
Like I did last year.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, you just pulled up on the street, turn on those.
I went up to the front door. There was nobody there.
Ah.
I read something on IMDb. They're like, oh, they have to like turn people away because so many people do it.
Oh, really?
There was not a soul in sight when I did it.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Candy canes.
Nay.
Nay.
Again, don't like peppermint.
Also, real messy.
Very.
I don't appreciate anything.
So sticky.
Yeah, I don't like being sticky. I just don't like that.
No.
Christmas cards.
Yay.
I'm gonna say yay as well, because I'm not that much.
You can
of a
do whatever
curmudgeon.
you want with them.
Yeah.
You can make them traditional, or you can do something funny. Yeah.
And also, all of these things would be nay as a kid because I felt very oppressed by, like the way that everyone did it. But now as an adult, it's like I'm looking at my Christmas tree right here. It's covered in disco balls and weird shiny objects.
Make it what you want.
Yeah, you have to be able to be. When you're a kid, it's like, we got to do it this way because your uncle blah 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 blah. It's like fuck him. You know what I mean?
Yep. You're your own man.
Hear that, Uncle Bob? Fuck you. He doesn't listen. All right.
We've cut a nerve on this one.
Is there anything else you want to get into? Any other holiday tradition that you either love or hate?
Hot fudge.
Hot fudge?
Yeah.
Hot fudge, huh?
Fudge.
Interesting.
Fudge is so good. Christmas
fudge.
cookies, my favorite Christmas cookie, Peanut butter with the Hershey Kiss in it.
That's a good one. Solid choice.
So good.
I'm a chocolate chip guy in cookie general, but my girlfriend makes really good brown butter and basil cookies.
Wow.
Brown butter, basil.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, I'll give you one later.
I better. Better get one.
Also, toasted nuts, pretty good. A holiday thing.
I'm not a nut guy.
No?
So I just don't eat them.
Interesting.
I've got nothing against them. I just don't like them.
Interesting. Anything else that we're missing here?
Rankin and Bass specials. Yeah.
Hate them.
Nay.
Hate
nay,
them.
Nay.
Hate
nay.
them.
Nay.
Oh, what? The Flash episode of the had the last episode of the Flash Christmas episode. My favorite Christmas episode of anything ever.
Yeah.
Because everyone just started.
I watch that show.
Everyone just started saying random Christmas things because it just takes place on Christmas. So it's like, Merry Christmas, the Flash. Hit you with my ice gun. Good stuff.
Wow.
Yep. So that's all we got. Here we go, Gremlins.
Watch some Gremlins.
Here we go.
After midnight.
And we're back.
We're back.
Gremlins.
Just watched it.
Well, hold on.
Hey now.
Hey now. So.
This is gonna be fun.
So we're recording this relative to when we're recording this the last night, which was December 18th, Friday. Came home from work. I'm like, I gotta watch Gremlins. Then I gotta go to bed early. And I gotta get up early to go to Star Wars 8 a.m. screening. See our Star Wars review last week. Okay. So got the disc from Netflix. Popped it in. Nothing but trouble. Skipping scenes. Freezing. Had to restart it a couple times. Got frustrated with it. I need to wrap this up. I need to go to bed. I gotta get up at 6. So took the disc out of the player, fired up Amazon Prime, rented it. So I rented it not once but twice. Watched the movie. I'm gonna cancel my Netflix disc because I'm sick of this shit. However, also watch it with Emily. She absolutely hated it. More on that later. Then you came over. We recorded Star Wars. This is a little behind the scenes shit here.
Yep.
And then you had said to me, and I quote, "Hey, can we watch the Gremlins real quick? I didn't watch it." And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And then we did. Now, The ironic part of this is, as we were getting ready to go to bed, I jokingly said to Emily, "Hey, maybe we could watch it again." To which she said, and I quote, "Fuck no, we are not watching this shit again after, especially not after Star Wars." End quote.
Sorry. I didn't have time. I would have watched it, but I'm a busy man.
It's all good. These things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do good here, Kev. You do good work. You do good work. Sometimes, the schedules are hard. If we had no other jobs other than this podcast, it'd be a lot easier, I'd say.
We'd be doing like G.I. Joe. We'd run out of movies to talk about.
For sure. So, friend of the show, Emily, watched it with me last night, like I said. I watched it with you just now, like I just said also. She had a running commentary that I will insert into the second half of the episode because she did not like this movie at all.
I'm excited to hear some choice quotes.
All right.
Regarding Gremlins.
We'll see what I can dish up for you, Kev. Hopefully it's to your liking.
Can't wait.
Because I'm really doing this with an audience of one. Me and you. We're one person combined.
We'll do it.
So, now that we've seen it, what happens in this movie? Well, Randall Rand Peltzler, a struggling inventor, visits a Chinatown antique store with the hope of finding a Christmas present for his son, Billy. In the store, Randall encounters a small furry creature called a mogwai. The owner, Mr. Wing, refuses to sell the creature to Rand, so his grandson secretly sells it to him anyways. 3 important rules, though. Can't forget these, Kev. Rule 1, don't expose it to bright light, or it'll kill it. Don't get it wet, and never feed it after midnight. No consequences attached to those 2 ones. But
just don't do it.
Gizmo's first reveal, once the kid opens the box and you see the kid, Emily, quote, "I really don't like puppets." Rand returns home to the Kingston Falls, where he gives the mogwai to Billy as a pet. Rand names the mogwai Gizmo. Billy makes sure to treat him well. Emily's quote, "I've never seen it, but it's shit. Get this thing over with. We don't need to watch it sleep in a drawer." So when Billy's friend Pete spills a glass of water over Gizmo, Emily's quote, "Who is this kid, Chris Hardwick?" 5 more Mogwai spawn out of its back, led by the aggressive Stripe. Stripe's gang tricks Billy into feeding him after midnight and transform him into cocoons. Emily's quote, "Are these ones evil? How can they be evil if they're toys?" Me. Huh? Aren't they Furbies? No. Well, then why is the movie called Furbies? It's not called Furbies, it's called Gremlins. Furbies rip these off. I don't know what the fuck this is, but I just don't like it.
Just in the wrong mindset overall.
I don't think she went into the wrong mindset. I think this movie just failed her completely. So this is a mini review within the greater sum of the review.
Okay.
Shortly after, the cocoons hatch and they emerge as mischievous, evil reptilian gremlins who torture Gizmo and try to murder Billy's mother. When they were hatching, I was like, because she's kind of like on her phone. I'm like, hey, they're hatching, and Gizmo's hiding in a helmet. And she's like, I would be too.
Perfectly logical response.
So, and then the first reveal where you see the gremlin eating the cookie. She's this is the quote. Oh, I hate them. They're like bats. And I am laughing throughout this whole thing. Just so you know how I was taking this. This was like, so good. Some stuff happens. Stripe jumps into a swimming pool at the YMCA, spawning an army of gremlins who wreak massive chaos around Kingston Falls. At this point, M, are you sleeping? No. Are you watching? Unfortunately. Billy tries to warn the police, but they don't believe him. Many people are injured or outright killed by the gremlins' rampage. In the local bar, the gremlins have fun with the barmaid Katie, Billy's girlfriend. She flashes them with a camera and escapes with Billy and Gizmo. On Phoebe Cates, on the topic of Phoebe Cates. Em, you like Phoebe Cates? Please. She's the best part of this movie. Can you please pass me my book? And then she started reading the book. So, that's where we got with that. While hiding, she reveals a horrific story that her father died in a chimney while dressed as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, but they discovered him around New Year's, which is why she does not celebrate Christmas. Emily. That's a horrible story. Who climbs down a chimney? It's not big enough for people. Unless you just live in a gigantic medieval castle, then it would be big enough for people.
Of course.
Billy and Kate discover the town has fallen silent and the gremlins are now watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in a cinema and enjoying it. They set off an explosion, killing all the gremlins except for Stripe. Emily. Burn them! Burn them all! Billy chases Stripe into a Montgomery Ward store, where Stripe climbs into a water fountain and tries to spawn more gremlins. Gizmo's arrived by a toy car and opens the sunlight, exposing Stripe to extreme sunlight and melting him. Emily. Why does an RC car have working internal controls? Me. I love watching this with you. Emily. I hate it. It's a source of hate. In the aftermath of the Gremlins rampage, Mr. Wing appeals to collect Gizmo, scolding the Peltzers in their carelessness, thinking that the Western world is not ready, but comments that Billy might someday be ready to care for Gizmo properly. Gizmo, like Lives Believe So, having become attached to Billy, they love each other. It's a love between a furry creature and a man. Man-child. Mr. Wing departs with Gizmo in tow, while Rand narrates the audience that if anything ever goes wrong in your house, it might be a gremlin, not, like
yeah,
the logical end of the...
Not one of his garbage inventions.
Right.
Gremlins.
Yeah. So, Kev, that was a brief synopsis and highlight of my girlfriend's thoughts on this movie.
With some fantastic peppering of hateful comments.
Yes, indeed. And you hadn't seen this movie in a long time. We've talked about this.
Yep.
What'd you think?
I find the word that kept popping in my head was cruel. This movie just seems so cruel to me. In a way that you could never get away with today.
It is a cruel movie. The craziest things happen. People die horrible deaths. These creatures die horrible deaths. But at the same time, there is like this bizarro juxtaposition between like the most horrific of violence and then like fun casual scenes.
Yeah.
Like, someone gets like mowed down with a tractor, and then we cut to like a sight gag of like a priest goes to deliver his mail, and then the mail gets spat out of the
Yeah.
the mailbox and the Gremlins in there, and it's like bum, 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 bum,
Yep.
bum, 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 bum. And it's cruel, but like there's no stakes in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this movie seemed very plotless.
Well,
There's not a lot of story.
no,
And
I
there's
mean,
not a lot at emotional stakes, physical stakes, and it is kind of just a means, I think, to have a lot of creatures running around and doing something that 80s, I don't know. This movie is extremely 80s in that it is completely callous.
oh yeah. But I mean, the plot is simple, right? It's
Oh, yeah, the plot is
creatures
very
creatures
simple.
get out, gotta put them. But there's no. But to your point, though, there really isn't any.
Nobody
plan.
learns a lesson.
No one learns
Nobody
a
learns
goddamn thing.
anything.
No.
There's no real conflict except these creatures are out and we have to stop them. You know, but we don't know anything about them, so they have to figure that out.
Hold on, let's come back to this.
Okay.
Okay, because overall, I think it's a strange movie. Overall,
Very strange.
and overall, though, I like it. But I would like a Bizarro movie about green monsters, right? And what I don't, I mean, so it's like I like it because it is so fucking bobo bonkers bananas, right?
Yeah.
Triple B. What I don't understand how the world loves this movie because it's like a beloved movie, and the whole world let it into their hearts.
A beloved, like, children's movie. It's
Right.
thought of to be, and this movie is, like, viciously just
Like,
nasty.
But that's what I'm saying, like,
it's mean-spirited.
like if I was gonna show this to a kid now, it would have to be like only the coolest kid I know.
Yeah.
It's like in the hierarchy of kids that I know, who's the coolest? You get it. None of you, the rest of you, could handle this shit.
Yep.
And then, like in a world dominated by the conformity of Rotten Tomatoes, I just don't understand how something this bizarre is beloved by everyone.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's thought of as, like, a Christmas classic.
Right.
And, oh, yeah, Gremlins. I watched that in class. You know, people like that.
Yes. It's like.
I watched it in school. You watched this in school?
Yeah, what irresponsible. It's like this is almost, and I mean this in the best way. Like it's like almost like a how did this get made movie in the sense of like how did they just pull? Were people just drunk off of Steven Spielberg enough to just do this?
And how was the king of sentimentality, Steven Spielberg's name, on top of this thing?
Yeah, and
know?
and it wasn't like he took it as a cash grab. He developed this movie,
Yeah, he, like,
as we've discussed.
yes.
And I just feel like I mean, to the movie's credit, and one of the reasons why I don't think it grabs you plot wise and character wise. It does not grab you.
No.
But one thing that I like though is that it lives in its own cinematic world. Like the house is full of all of these inventions that this father has created, and we keep going back to them, and they're always on the fritz. Like there's the light switch remote, there's the phone remote,
Yep.
there's the coffee maker that's like on a thing,
There's the hammer with, like, hydraulics on it.
right? And a fly swatter in the same vein. It just operates on this bizarro child logic, like, and this is what I really want to get into, where it's like some weird sciencey thing is happening. These new creature we have. So who do we go talk to? It's like, oh, the science teacher, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, and like the dad is like not present, and he comes in and out, and he never seems concerned about anything.
No.
You know?
He is the most even-keeled man on the planet. People are very nonplussed in this movie.
Yes,
Lots of characters.
to the point of absurdity.
It is. Corey Feldman's like, here's this creature that nobody's ever seen. He's like, oh, that's cool. And then he goes and reads a comic book.
Yeah, it's great. It's like at that point you could tell that they're completely aware of what they're doing. Like it's not like they're like, oh, everyone's just nonplussed, and then they edit it all together and like, oh wait, everyone's nonplussed. Are we sure we wanted? It's like they know that they want everyone to be nonplussed. Nobody cares that this thing has the intelligence of like a 5-year-old, right? It can talk. It can play video games. It understands the concept of music as it relates to playing an instrument.
It has perfect pitch.
Perfect. So, yeah. It's just a strange movie. It's just strange.
It's just, again, it's odd. It's callous. It's mean-spirited.
I think some of that is done in a very fun way. I think that the mom fighting.
There are good gags, and
Yes.
there's good. From a pure technical standpoint, the creature effects are pretty cool.
Okay, wait, let's talk about that. So this is a movie pre-CG, right? So everything in this movie is either stop motion or puppets.
Yep.
For the most part, I think they do a lot of advanced puppetry. Like there's a scene where they blow up the fucking
Movie theater.
movie theater, and Gizmo like is going from like normal resting to like flinching and putting, and that looks like as if a little fuzzy creature could flinch and cover its head from an explosion. That's how it would do it.
And they had there's a quick scene where the dog licks his ear and he reacts to the lick, you know? So it's like either that dog was trained or the dog did it and the puppeteer was just conscious enough to like act out that moment. And it's all very believable. And the gremlins are very nasty. And they do so many different things with them. They throw them in the air. They put them on fans. They have them drinking. They have them, like actual liquid consuming in them. They melt. They do all kinds of stuff. So they pulled out every stop and every trick in the puppet book to bring these things to life. And again, a pure technical standpoint, that's pretty cool.
It is. Will say it is inconsistent. There's definitely stop motion, which I love. But when it's doing stop motion, it does have a jerky look to it that doesn't look like everything else.
It's not as fluid. And some puppets you can definitely tell are only meant to be in that one pose.
Yes.
Like the one that stuck out to me is the gremlin drinking a Coors Light.
Yeah.
You can tell he only has that. And they just kind of move him around.
Right, that big swig.
Yep.
And then whenever they're hanging on something, you could tell that they're just hanging on something.
They're just on it.
Yeah, and then like there's a scene when they're all mogwais when they're playing the video game, and it's like almost like a cheap cartoon where they're just rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
And I don't hold that against the movie, but it's not. I think to a lot of people's nostalgia, this is like a completely seamless movie. To my memory, the scene where Stripe goes after the main kid with the bat when he's trying to saw through the bat.
Yeah.
In my memory, that scene is completely flawless. But there's times where the saw's not touching the bat, or like the bat is like not sawing evenly, and
It's the continuity's all over the place. But then you get the funny moment where he puts the chainsaw down and is like carried away by the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of just
super
weird,
imaginative.
Yeah, it's Joe Dante and the special effects team they're always thinking on these things, for better or worse, because some of them are incredibly mean spirited when you take like 2 seconds to think about it.
Right. For sure. But then there's also like times where there'll be a cool thing like when they're watching the movie and they're switching reels. Gremlins just not pros when it comes to switching reels.
Yeah.
So the Gremlins can see the kids through the thing, and then the Gremlins are rushing the stage, and we see the Gremlins through the screen. And that's a really cool, creative, imaginative thing of like, oh yeah, you'd see their shadows as they all rush up, you know, all these little monsters.
Well, and even stuff that's not involving the puppets. There's like the shot when he jumps in the pool at the YMCA, I thought was really cool. Like, it's a still pool, and then they get all this. It's not just bubbling; it's like roiling, and then there's smoke, and there's lights in it, and like that's really cool. And then there's the shot when the teacher he's looking for the first gremlin, and we see the projector in the background. It creates the light for the scene, and it's like a very cinematic look.
Right.
Like, so it's not all just puppets. Like, there's a lot of just creative filmmaking techniques.
For sure. And I think it's just not. And I completely agree with you. And to even say this is to be an asshole, like what I'm about to say, but it's like it's not flawless though. And that is only in context of the idea that there's like people in this world who are like, we got to get back away from CG back to puppets and stuff. And it's like, but puppets aren't perfect. It's not, you know what I mean? Like they're not.
Yeah, not every practical effect is immediately good.
Right.
You know, whereas not every CGI is terrible.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's not, again.
And creative minds can accentuate how good they are and hide the flaws, right?
Exactly.
Because like when I was a kid, and even now, like you know, they're just when the gremlins are hanging on the fucking ceiling fan, I'm not like that looks so fake. You know what I mean? But I am noticing like, oh, his feet aren't moving.
Yep.
But like, it doesn't look like dog shit. It's not terrible. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't convince you wholly that
this is a real
this thing is,
right.
You know, it's not this amazing feat of puppetry. They just stapled this thing to the fucking fan.
But then for every shot like that, there's 6 shots that are like
like very, very expressive.
Yeah.
Mogwai, Gizmo's face is very. He has some, like, I would even go so far as say touching moments.
Right, he does. Like and then there's like, you know, he emotes really well.
Yep.
And normally I wouldn't like this because cute things being sad not to my liking.
Yep.
But I don't think A, Gizmo is really that cute, and B, the movie is just so bobo for bonkers for bananas that it doesn't even matter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like, and we'll talk about when this movie starts to really go off the rails, but we'll get to that in a minute. Also, just now that we're talking about the creature effects and talking about the creature's lore, the rules are dumb. Those are dumb rules.
Yeah. When is after midnight?
Yeah.
When is it not after midnight? It's always after midnight at some time.
Right, and maybe don't feed them after the sun goes down. Because, like, listen, I get it. It's a fairy tale, right? Yeah. It's like the creatures have rules that are, like, emotional rules, not, like, scientific ones. And I'm totally down with that. I don't give a shit, right? But to what you just said, it's like, when can we start?
Yeah. You
Back
gotta
at.
feed them, but, yeah, after midnight is just...
Too generic.
It's way too generic.
And I don't think it's like not your next. It follows kind of a thing where it's like, no. The whole point is that we don't understand how this works. I think it's like, just 3 rules and let's move on. And it's like, wait a minute. It does work. The movie's a fairy tale, and I get that, but...
And it's framed as being told as a story.
It is. Which is weird because it's the dad's story.
Yeah. A guy who is not presented as... being like creative or even being a very good speaker,
and who's not even in the majority of the movie.
And yeah, is really quite absent.
He kind of sets it up and then he comes back in later for no reason.
Yep, because he was at his convention.
Also, just to throw this out there, these creatures have human level intelligence. No one cares.
Yep.
No one cares. No one is even impressed by it.
Even the dog doesn't care.
I know we said that before, but like it bears repeating. They can talk. No other animal can talk English. Dogs can talk in a language apropos to dogs in their limited concept of the universe, right? But, like, this thing is like,
it can make words.
Yeah,
and
it's like
learn words.
Yeah, it is.
And create connections with, it's at the end, he calls him Billy. And
yeah.
Yeah, they're intelligent and nobody cares. Everyone's like, cool story, bro.
Can we just talk really quick about just the most what the fuck moments in this movie?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Which ones?
First things first. So Billy is the main character. How old would you say Billy is? 20?
Yeah, I would go, he's like 23, 24.
Okay, let's just say he's 24, right? 20 between 24. So he lives in his parents' attic. Not that crazy. Works a shitty job at the bank. Not that crazy.
And is kind of the breadwinner for the family. It's implied.
That's getting a little weirder, right? I guess his mom doesn't work and his dad's an inventor.
And not a very good one.
Not a good one. That's all, that's not what the fuck material, though. No, nothing I just said. What is what the fuck material is that his best friend appears to be a 12-year-old boy that they, like, hang out in his room and read comic books with?
Yeah. That's weird.
As Emily said... Your man is too old to have a pet, and why is he hanging out with a small child?
Great question.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking weird.
Yeah. And then buying a present for your child in Chinatown, like a shady Chinatown shop, and you get him a pet. He already has a pet. He has a dog.
Well, really though, but like that's like a legitimate thing. It's like, well, I need to have this. I've got to have it for my son. It's like, why? Are you trying to teach him responsibility? And the way that he talks to his dad when the dad gives him the present, he's like, what is it, Dad? What's his name? It's like, Are you fucking 6 years old?
This movie would make a lot more sense if the protagonist was 6 years old.
Or like,
I think.
Or maybe like 16 years old, where it's like he's working a shitty part-time job and supporting the family, so he's in this weird state of arrested development because he is literally a kid and literally being treated as an adult. But in this movie, he's literally an adult just in a state of arrested development.
Yep.
It's very strange.
It is. Just again, how is Steven Spielberg's name attached to this thing? A filmmaker as smart and as sentimental as him. And, it's just bizarre. Bonkers.
Speaking of bizarre, the bar scene. So later,
why is she serving them?
So later in the movie, we enter. This is something that only a media could do, right? Because if this happened if you walked into that scene in real life, you'd be like, "There's just no way we got to." You'd start questioning everything, right? So it's like we open in the bar, which we've seen before, and our girl is pouring all the Gremlins drinks. Now, a couple scenes ago, the Gremlins were singing a Christmas carol but they had the cards and they were wearing the earmuffs and stuff, right? Which is like the most surreal. This most surreal a movie about little green monsters is. It's a surreal moment because now they're acting like people, right?
Yeah.
But then I guess you could say, oh, they killed the Christmas carolers and then they are just mocking.
Yeah.
But now they're in the bar.
And what's odd? Here's another thing. Let's see. I'll save it for later.
Nah,
'Cause I'll expand on it.
So now they're sitting so they were just doing that. Now they're sitting in a bar, playing card games, smoking cigarettes, drinking to excess, playing pool, and like
Shooting guns.
And I guess you could argue that they've learned about all of these things like quickly, but it's just and then Phoebe Cates is like serving them all.
Yeah.
And like they're ordering, they're like, she's like, oh, a double, like a beer. It's just strange.
No sense.
It's just strange. I mean, that's when the movie really falls off the rails. And I mean, it does build. It's been building to like more and more craziness. But that is when this movie is just off the fucking reservation.
Yeah. So it just again, story wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like, why wouldn't she just run away?
And then there's one that's wearing sunglasses and flashes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Why?
And then here's where another issue I have starts coming up. Why are all these things gremlin sized? Why is there a gremlin sized trench coat?
Yo, okay. Why is there a gremlin sized gun?
Why are there gremlin sized hats? Why are there gremlin sized sunglasses, cigarettes? Where did all the gremlin sized stuff come from? Because it's all proportional to them.
Right.
And that could have been a good gag if the gun's like way too big and he's trying to handle it. Or they have sunglasses that are like half dangling off their face. But everything fits them.
I mean, I definitely think that they're just going for this surreal thing.
Yeah.
But man, dude, is that like it builds up slow and then it just goes. You know what I mean?
And I noticed it almost immediately. I think I noticed it with the gun. And I was like, wait a minute, why is the gun so small?
Yes.
And what's weird is he gets it at the department store.
Well, he had one before, too.
Yeah, they had one before. And then Stripe gets one from a case at the department store, which the good old days of Montgomery Ward selling guns. Mm-hmm. And then it's a small little...
Also, in the good old days of Montgomery Ward existing.
Exactly. Hell of a store, Montgomery Ward.
But I mean, but in the movie's defense, they are building up this surrealism as it goes. Like when the science teacher is taking notes, there's just a brain on the table.
Yeah.
And it looks juicy. It doesn't look like a plastic brain.
No, that's a brain.
Also, Emily, is that a brain? Oh man.
And then the video he's showing is like this heart surgery video to, what I'm presuming is high school kids.
Yeah, well, they're learning about anatomy or whatever.
Yeah, but it's just like shots of like the valves opening and the heart getting cut up. It's just odd. Again, strange and oppressive.
Yes.
This movie is just... I did not remember this movie.
Well, and it's weird. I mean, again, maybe as an adults we remember it differently, but it's like the dad's an inventor, and we spend a lot of time hearing his gags, seeing stuff mess up. Yeah, long scenes of him trying to sell people things. His speech is pretty... he's a good talker.
Yeah.
But... So Emily was like, oh, they're going to use these to fight the Gremlins later. Nope.
Wrong.
They do not.
They're just there.
Also, Emily on the coffee maker. Why does he have to invent this? Do they not have a coffee maker?
Same with the orange juice press.
That's already a thing.
Yeah.
Same with the card shuffler.
Yep. The egg cracker, not a thing, but not horribly useful either.
Yeah.
Yeah. His inventions don't.
The remote control for the light, that is actually useful.
That would be useful.
Right.
But they got clappers and dimmer switches these days.
Yeah. But like,
from your phone.
if you had like a shitty house or a shitty apartment, I guess if you had a house, you could just get it rewired. But if you have a shitty apartment where like the plugs are in weird places, you could, it'd be cool to have like a little like key fob thing you could just turn your lights, But it's just it's a strange movie. I mean, I do like how just bonkers it is.
But there's some moments that are kind of they go a little far. The dog tangled up in the lights, that did not look like a fake dog.
No, that was a real dog.
That's odd.
Also, in the because in the original script, Gizmo turns into Stripe and they eat the dog.
Jeez.
So this is them backing off. Also, I do think this movie makes sense in the context of what we talked about in the first half, which is this is a horror movie that they backed into a kids movie. So like everything that's crazy, it's like they've from the original they've backed it off probably considerably, but still it's like so instead of the Gremlins eating the dog, we're gonna scrap it. They're just gonna tie the dog up, and instead of like Gizmo turning into Stripe and Stripe being killed by a microwave, we'll just do that gag, but it won't be the characters that we love.
Yeah.
But the thing still gets fucking microwaved to death.
It's microwaved and explodes.
And it doesn't look like...
And gets blended, and...
Yeah.
Like, people get killed and gremlins get killed in vicious ways.
Yeah, and we just move right along.
And yeah, and then it's usually like a one-liner joke, and then we're on to the next scene. You know, what's her name? Mrs. Deagle gets thrown out of her electronic chair.
Well, the thing is, that moment I think is just like, we've built up to that because we don't like her.
Oh, yeah. Like,
you know?
she is nasty.
Like,
too.
she just, in the context of the movie...
I'm gonna put your dog in the dryer.
Also, by the way...
What?
By the way, if you threaten someone's dog in Los Angeles in 2015, that is like more of a crime than actually murdering a man.
Yep.
So, times have changed.
And everybody on social media would be like, oh yeah, that was justified. Killing you because you made a dog threat.
Yeah. But then we kill the guy who hates foreign cars and foreign things.
Yep. And
it's like, you know, we didn't necessarily like him. He's kind of an asshole, but we did feel bad. We built up feeling bad for him, and then they just cut that off.
And then him and his wife get killed by their tractor, driven by the Gremlins.
And do you think they're trying to do an analogous thing from Phoebe Cates' horrific story about Christmas to this? About how bad Christmas can be or something?
I have no clue. That story is... I think, as I said in the moment, I said, that is oppressively dark. In a way that it does not need to be.
Well,
like, that's how they justify her not liking a holiday. And it doesn't tie into the story in any way.
Well, I like this speech, but it's apropos of nothing.
It's completely in the wrong movie.
well, it's just like, she just says it. She just, like, volunteers it up.
Yep.
Like, I gotta just tell you the story real quick. You know what I mean? And it's just like, whoa. After we've kind of had to, like... We've kind of alluded to it, then we came away, and then we come back, and it's like, huh? You know what I mean? There's other movies with like dark stories and stuff. Like, you know, fucking Beetlejuice. She's like, my whole life's a dark room, one big dark room. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's built to. This was just like,
right. And it's earned, and it says something about the characters. It ties into the themes of the story. In this movie, it's just there, just to be even darker.
But I do feel like this movie just doesn't give a fuck about what you what you want. Like,
it does not care.
It knows that it knows that some people are gonna hate it, which again is just so crazy as to why everyone loves it, because it's like every movie like that I feel like has a lot of naysayers, a lot of strange stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah, there's no Gremlins backlash that I've ever seen. Or
no, in the 80s moms thought it was too violent, but
well, yeah,
and they were right. But
those 80s moms were right for once.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's like, whenever anybody has 80s nostalgia, that is right next to, like, Cabbage Patch Kids.
Goonies, Garbage Pail Kids, Bugle Boy Jeans.
And fucking Gremlins.
Huffy Bikes.
Scrunchies.
Acid Wash High-Waisted Jeans.
Duran Duran.
That's a big... Oh, Duran Duran and...
Oh, no.
What's the Karma Chameleon people?
Culture Club.
Culture Club, yeah. And Coke. So, do you think it's weird that they won't kill Gizmo? They keep putting him in terrible situations, but they never really hurt him.
To me, it was weird that he never factors into the story much. After he gives birth to the 5 other ones, he's always kind of just along for the ride.
Well, he feels like a vehicle to tell the story, and I mean, like, in a very fairy tale way. And I'm not talking about like Disney fairy tale. I'm talking about like the original Grimm Brothers fairy tale, where it's like, it's a creature, they broke the rules, and then bad things happen, but in the end, the original creature didn't do anything wrong, so he get to live. You know what I mean? But it's like, Yeah, he's just there to, and it's like, what's
his one thing he does is he does open the shades and kills Stripe in another horrific death where Stripe melts.
That's probably the most horrific death.
And his skeleton is like melting and his eyes are popping out and he's clearly in a whole lot of pain. God. Jesus.
So it's just a weird thing that, like, yeah, like you think. I mean, it is. I mean, I think a lot of this comes back to the fact that it's a kids movie, but it's like, so it's a kids movie, so you can't kill Gizmo, but like, he really doesn't have anything to do.
No.
And then I guess the happy ending is like, you know, like, hey, maybe one day you'll be mature enough for this shit, but like,
I think the happy ending is Gizmo gets to get away from these fucking crazy people.
Crazy.
These people who have no sense of themselves or responsibility or anything.
For sure.
Gizmo wins in the end.
Do you think when the guy is asking Phoebe Cates, like, why don't you like Christmas? You a Hindu or something? Which I find offensive. And then he asks her on a date. Do you think that in his mind, in the context of the movie, that he thinks that she might invite him in for some hot coffee, wink, wink, nudge, nudge?
I think so.
That's
definitely what they're going for.
And he's like, and she's like, no, we'll go on the date. That's cool. And he's like, damn, almost. Do you think that's what's going on there?
I think that's what's going on.
Okay. I agree with you.
After he insults her for not liking Christmas, he wants some punani.
Is it satisfying? Okay, so
the priorities of this movie are so strange.
Listen, they are their own. Also, speaking of the priorities being out of whack, so they blow up all of the gremlins, and then they're like hunting down Stripe, and then he kisses her. It's like, this doesn't belong right here.
No, not at all.
Also, it's one of my pet peeves now. It's like, I don't know, and maybe I'm just hanging around the wrong girls, but I don't know any girl who's like, oh my god, I might die. I am horny.
Yep. That is very much a movie thing.
You know, like...
Yep. As his kids sitting in class, and then when the bell rings, they get up and get ready to go.
Yeah, they're not prepping, they're not anxious, and they're not putting everything away.
I've never been in a class where...
There wasn't
5 minutes to go. People weren't packing up.
The tension shifts.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, speaking to what you said earlier about like the movie kind of being a little bit rudderless, a little bit plotless, the fact that like they come back out, the town is still now, which is a really great visual.
Yeah.
But then all the gremlins are in the movie theater, and then they just blow up the movie theater. That is to me a very boring.
Yeah.
Solution.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all.
Very dull. They couldn't get a lawnmower and start lawn mowing gremlins. They couldn't. No, they just happened to go into a movie theater and watch Snow White, and they're just like, we'll just blow the thing up. It's, I don't know. If they got so creative with how the gremlins attack and kill people, it's like, why can't you do that with the people as well?
Just like
in the weird twisted logic of this movie.
Just like in the horror genre, like people want to get away from like the fake jump scare. I think in the monster movie genre, we need to get away from the we blow up the monster.
Yep. Jaws
did it the best. Okay, that's it. But now we're done.
Yep. Yeah, we gotta find another solution. We can't just blow people up.
Mm-hmm. And especially when to what your point is, like they had such creative ways of killing all these other ones, right? We blended one, we stabbed one, we cut off one's head and flew in the thing, sunlight, all this other stuff, but like...
That's the one.
That's the one, just blow it up.
Yeah, just blow it up.
I don't like that.
When I found another one I found odd is when they're smoking cigarettes and Phoebe Cates, again, offers to light a cigarette and they're scared of the fire, but then that's never brought up again.
I think it's light.
But then how did they light their cigarettes to begin with?
Like a teenage boy, just nervously. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. So, picking up from what we started the first half, do you want a distant sequel?
No. I see no reason why we need a distant sequel.
Do you want to watch the second one before you say that?
I might watch the second one.
Because
out of morbid curiosity.
From my recollection, the second one is just like this one, but just to the 100 times crazier, right? Yeah. Where Leonard Maltin reviews Gremlins 1 in Gremlins 2 and then is killed by a gremlin.
Damn.
Yeah.
It gets meta.
It gets meta. Indeed.
Because I know I have never seen Gremlins 2. I know I saw Gremlins way back in the day, but I've never seen the new batch. So
I don't know if I'm out on a sequel. I mean, and listen, every movie's one good trailer away from me loving it.
Yeah.
You know, or at least wanting to see it. Or at least wanting to love it. So, if they want to do it, I'll be your Huckleberry. I don't give a shit. But it's a weird...
I'll wait for that trailer.
I need to wait for that trailer, though. Because this is I mean, I feel like, you know, if we were hanging out at Christmas time and someone put this on in the background, I wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like... I don't know if I would ever sit down and rewatch this intently.
No,
you know what I mean?
never.
And then on that second, I did find myself on that second viewing being like, I'm kind of bored. I kind of don't want to watch this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And maybe when that distant sequel comes out or gets made, maybe that's when the reevaluation happens and people go, wait a minute, this movie is fucked up.
Yeah, well.
This movie is just,
Not for nothing, man.
no.
Let's get into some nitpicks real quick. Ready?
Ready.
Starts and ends with a dad's voiceover. Why?
The dad eats shaving cream when the shaving cream gets
It's probably because it was whipped cream, but yeah, I noticed that too.
But I was like, dude, no. And again, it's totally nonplussed by it.
Small town with a Burger King. What's wrong with America?
Yeah, Mrs. Deagle's comments are like the ravings of a psychopath.
Right. Say you have dragon's breath, followed up by gong noise.
Yep, and then like weird look at the dragon. This whole the lady who's like begging Mrs. Deagle to not take her rent is kind of never followed up on, and is spent a long time on, and then never really factors into the story. All it does is just to make Miss Deagle look like the horrible human that she is.
Let's follow back up with that in 1 second. Shit slow-mo during the Chinatown scene when they're explaining the rules. No!
Very
no!
shitty slow-mo. Because it goes on for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Dad sees the Mogwai, offers $100, offers $200. You don't want to know what's the list price on this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe this thing's 50 cents. Maybe they're just giving them away. You know what I mean? Have you ever walked to a pet store and you said, oh, koi fish, cool, $100? It's like, maybe I'll look at the fucking little tag to see how much this is.
It's like, this thing's $15 on sale, but okay, I'll take your $100.
Guy who hates foreign cars, never owned a Ford.
Never owned a Ford.
Also, at a sales convention on Christmas Eve, he says, I know it's Christmas Eve, but the convention's wrapping up. What?
It's like a weird inventors convention, too.
Yeah.
Again, bizarre.
And that's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Moments of awesome. The time machine gag, where there's the time machine from the old 30s movie, The Time Machine, and then they cut away, they cut back, and everyone's like, what? Where did it go?
Yep. Good little background.
Yeah, background thing when he's on the phone with his wife.
The town set is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't just look like a backlot. They gave it some character. So
Emily is convinced that it's the Gilmore Girls set.
It probably is.
Mom versus Gremlins, which she has no justification to kill these things. She has no idea what it is. She doesn't know that they're evil. We know it's evil because we know it killed the science professor guy.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that. She just knows that they're ugly.
Yep.
But if you went around killing every ugly animal, we'd have no more fucking pigeons left.
Nope.
And the physicality of that is great. Where they're really tossing stuff at that actress.
Oh yeah, no, they again another way where it seems very sadistic is they're really throwing that shit at those people. The last shot is very cinematic and looks cool.
Yeah.
So I dig that.
Where the guy's walking away into the night. Disney footage in this movie? How?
Yeah, who signed off on that?
If they were to remake this movie today, a shot-for-shot remake, that is the part that will not make it, right? No. We'll murder fucking little creatures, we'll stab things, blood goes everywhere.
Bob Iger is saying,
No. Can't get no fucking Disney shit in that. Like the Mogwai, I prefer my fried chicken after midnight as well.
Yep.
Oh, in the very opening scene, when they're showing the town, some kid runs up to a girl and hits her with a snowball at point blank.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Is there a more satisfying feeling like when you nail someone with something? You know what I mean? Like a water balloon fight when you just nail someone?
Just a real good shot. Yeah.
And then her look on her face is like, you motherfucker. I'm gonna get you. Yep. But like in a good way. In a happy way. So, is there anything else you want to get to before we wrap this up? In the end, did you like this movie? Does it work?
No and no.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So, the official thumbs down.
I did not enjoy watching it as a conscious adult because I found it very mean-spirited and nasty and not really what I wanted out of something geared towards a child, I would say. And I just don't think it works on just really fundamental levels. There's cool stuff in it, and there's definitely creative minds behind it, but I think they had way more ideas than they had some common sense to put this thing together.
But I think they had the ideas around the concept, but not the ideas for the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, someone's thinking real hard about, like, okay, so when the gremlins are coming to attack, well, we're going to have, the light's going to be coming from here, so we can do this thing, we can, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, no one is thinking, like, how about another scene where they try to, the gremlins escape, or they, they're thinking it through, or they're going to go, there's no plot.
No.
So in the end, I like this movie. I don't love it. And it didn't really grab me, but I just love how crazy it is. Like, as a, how did this get made kind of a thing? It's just like, it's crazy.
In a way, again, you never get away with today.
Yeah, and that's on a personal level. On a personal level, it's just this fucking roller coaster ride that it's like it's like Splash Mountain, where it's like there's a story in here, I don't understand it at all, and then thrills, right? And then on a bigger level, on a cultural level, I just don't understand how everyone loves this movie. Like, Matt loves this movie, and I'm like,
really?
Yeah, and I'm like, what? I gotta talk to him about it now.
Has he seen it recently? Or
yeah, he watched it a couple weeks ago.
Jesus.
And I was like, oh, we're gonna do a podcast, but it's like, shit, like, it's crazy.
We gotta watch his Truffaut.
Yeah, he's a big French New Wave guy.
Man,
and A Band Apart and Gremlins.
It is just so strange.
You got a sequel pitch, or no? You got a crazy fan theory?
That somehow this isn't the real world. It's in somebody's mind, or it's within the confines of the story, and it's some kind of tale of how things can get askewed. I don't know. It's like how storytelling can just get, in the eyes of a bad narrator, this is what the kind of story they would tell.
Well, there's a weird through line that goes through, which is that the ending voiceover, the guy's like, hey, if something goes wrong in your house or your car, maybe it's a gremlin. And the gremlins do have a power to, like, they understand how, like, electronic things work, It comes from the genesis of the creature. But then, like, and then the guy who gets killed, who hates foreign cars, talks about gremlins and how there's gremlins and stuff. And I think he was in World War II, and he's like, yeah there's gremlins in our...
Well, I mean, isn't that where they got the term from?
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
But that is not carried throughout anything else.
No.
So my crazy fan theory is that this is really about a kid becoming a man after puberty, and he sees it because he went through puberty. He sees himself as 20, but he's really like, 12. So he's like, but I'm a man now. I just went through puberty, and I'm going through puberty. So it's like, in reality, Billy is like 12, and the girl that he likes is like 13.
Yeah.
And then his other friend is 12.
And he works at a bank.
Well, I can't. It doesn't.
It's not ironclad.
It's not. It's his perception, right? So it's like, I have a job. It's like working at a bank, but it's like really just doing bullshit. You know what I mean? Somewhere, but it's like because he's 12. It's like, this is my first job. It's super important, and it's a super important place. So it becomes a bank. So it's like everything in the movie is like, my dad's an inventor, and then these gremlins. But it's like, really, your dad just like tinkers and stuff, and he works at like Office Depot. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting theory. I like that. Yeah, his job might be like raking leaves, but he sees it as like his big adult job.
It's something with the girl though, and that's how he met her. So like, they probably work at that Burger King. You know what I mean? Yep.
That totally 80s Burger King.
Yeah.
Red and white logo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get that those Italian sandwich they had like in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. I love that fucking thing. Oh, Jesus. So gross. All right, so that's it for this episode. Please come back and join us next episode. Follow us on Twitter at Speaking Cinema. We're on Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes. Listen to Super Jabber every single Monday. Although I do release these episodes on Sunday, just because I'm not gonna do it in Monday morning. I'm gonna do it Sunday night.
I promote a Monday morning though.
Yeah,
that's how I do it.
Why not? You should.
Always.
This episode written by me, Mr. Jibber Jabber. Hosted by Kev and me, Mr. Jibber Jabber. Music by Jeff Russell. I am your host. For me, for Kev, for me, for Kev. This is our last Christmas movie, the end of season 4.
We're wrapping up our not so Merry Christmas block of
movies.
film.
Yeah, that wraps it up for us. Of them all, right, into to season 4, Not So Merry Christmas. We did Die Hard, Eyes Wide Shut, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, Black Christmas, White Christmas, Beasts of No Nation. Oh, that doesn't count. Star Wars and Gremlins. Which one was your favorite?
Of the Christmas ones, I like discussing Eyes Wide Shut the most. But I really enjoyed picking apart Planes, Trains, and Automobiles again. Because that is a deceptively deep movie.
Indeed.
I think.
I think that Black Christmas was my favorite episode because we disagreed so much.
That one was fun, as much as I hated that part.
And I was editing that, and Emily was listening to me edit it, and she's like, "This is like the funniest episode," because every time I'd say something, you're just like, "What the no, sure, whatever, fine, what are we flippity do?" So yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
so
this is a good time.
Yeah, so this marks the end of season 4. Start of season 5 comes next week. Gonna kick it off in the new year with The Hateful Eight. Catch back up with that. Gonna try to catch that roadshow version.
Oh yeah, and then we're gonna have our year-end wrap-up special.
And then we're gonna just do some movies that we like.
And if you got any suggestions, throw us a line.
Yeah.
We will consider it and discard it accordingly.
Yeah. Approved and rejected as per our purview.
Yes.
All right. See you later, guys. See you next time.
Merry Christmas. Remember, if you see a little green monster, murder it viciously.
I am your host, and this is. Hold on. So you didn't hum pigeon. It was funny.
I try.